And you're back on with Studio 771 Interviews. It's your host, Charles Barjon. And today we have Bunmi on. And say what's up to the people.
What's up?
And today it's actually her birthday, so I don't have a birthday song, but I think, let's see if I have my soundboard right. I always hit the wrong button, but I think this is the claps. Yes, I did it right for once. All right. So we'll just have some quick claps for her birthday. It's her Earth Strong, so we just wish her a good year and much strength. And today this interview is going to be about your experience as would you consider yourself a Nigerian American or just a Nigerian in America?
I'm a Nigerian in America. Technically, I'm not a citizen. So,
that's true. Huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I was going to get right to it. How would you describe your experience and your testimony, I'd say, assimilating within American culture and more specifically Black American culture since you go to a HBCU?
Right. First of all, it wasn't even my choice to come to Louisiana or go to Southern. I had joined a company or organization back home, and they were the ones that put me in the school.
On the track.
Yeah,
that's cool. So are there a lot of organizations back at home who are trying to?
Yeah, they charge they make that's how they make a living. So they charge a lot for doing that.
Yeah, I'm sure, and I bet you. Is it more so are they offering pay an arm and a leg and you get good education and housing and
but everyone wants to come to America though.
That's true.
Either America,
then you got
London,
here and you're
Canada,
oh, it's not too great.
Yeah.
Did you get here? You're I want to go back home.
No, I mean when I got here, I was oh my god, I'm not even that impressed. But as time went by, I was okay, I'm starting to actually like it and not wanting to go back.
I feel you. So. You join the organization, they bring you here, then what?
I mean, when I was coming, I didn't know where I was going, so...
Oh, wow, so they just,
they just put me on the plane, and I was 15, so, I started college at 15.
Wow. So intellectual, too. All right. I see you. So you didn't even know that you're going to HBCU. So
no.
When did you find out, I'm at an HBCU, and then, when did it hit you I'm at an HBCU, the importance of an HBCU?
Okay, so I actually didn't even know what an HBCU is because back home every school is technically an HBCU because we're all Black.
That's very true.
Yeah, so and I didn't properly do the research. I just figured since we paid them to do the research, they probably did the research. Yeah. So I didn't look the school up or anything. I mean, I did look at pictures and I was oh, it looks
That's
good.
Cool.
So I just got on the plane and then I got here and I was oh, this is not what, I was expecting. Mm-hmm. But I actually really like being a part of, an HBCU. They're really cool people. I don't really know what to compare it to because I've never experienced anything else.
That's true.
So.
But I'd say, that's very true.
Yeah,
it's a whole different. I
didn't even go to high school.
It's a different perspective, definitely, because, like you said, back at home, every school is that's just school.
Yeah.
And I think, and someone like me, I come from Cerritos, California, so I went to predominantly Asian schools, Asian and white, but really just Asian schools. So I came here, and I'm all these people, they look like me.
Right.
Oh my God, this is amazing. So I can't even imagine for you growing up where everybody's just like you.
Yeah.
It's just you probably have a stronger sense of pride than most people here do. Mm-hmm. And what would you say is your reaction towards, or I don't even want to put words in your mouth. Do you see self-hate amongst Black Americans here?
Amongst them or
amongst
towards us Africans, continental Africans?
Just towards their own race because, I'll say this, because a lot of Black Americans don't even consider themselves African, which I hate, to be honest. I consider myself a Black African. And I don't understand why they're so, but it's your interview, so I want to ask you, what is your reaction to that level of self-hatred, really?
Like I said, because I was from a place where everyone looks the same. Coming here, it wasn't so different.
That's true. Well, how about this? Not difference-wise, but when you. When you're talking to people, do you notice that they're more I'm trying to word it
back?
not pulled back, but because for yourself, because like I said a couple seconds ago, like, you probably have a deeper sense of pride, right? Like
Right.
racially wise, so just like who you are. I'm Nigerian. I'm from the motherland. I'm just and like we here, I find a lot of my peers here in America, they don't identify with Africa at all, or even take away Africa in general. Just being black in America, they don't even like their skin color. So like, when you come from Africa, right, and you come here, do you notice that Black Americans specifically have this like hatred, or not a hatred, just this like despair to them about just being black and like the whole experience of?
Actually, I don't really think so, because if I have to talk about my experience, there's one incident that recently happened. I think this was like last month or maybe a couple weeks back. I'm not really sure, but it was recent. And I feel like the problem I'm trying to get at is that Africans, let me not say Africans, Nigerians, since I can relate to them.
Yeah.
They're the ones who I think have a problem with, have certain issues with identifying with themselves, because my hair, I used to perm my hair. Everyone around me used to perm their hair. Everyone in Africa they will perm their hair. They will use bleaching creams, try to make themselves lighter. And like coming to America, like they, instead of that, like they made me embrace.
It's like the opposite.
Yeah,
almost.
like I went natural. Like my hair.
So it's kind of like our thirst for our identities.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes us more proud. Okay,
exactly.
I see what you're saying.
So like I didn't feel that. Yeah, I've never felt like that somebody disliked me because of my race. Maybe they didn't like me because of my personality, or maybe something I said or something like that. That's fine, but like not because of like. Every time I tell people I'm from Nigeria, they love it. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, people were probably like, "What? Like, wow, let me talk to you for like 5 hours." Like, let me. So we got past that. Now I want to come back to Southern, because, like I said, it's we're at Southern. So you came here at 15.
Yeah.
Did you? So you obviously already knew, like, because you were taught English and all that already. But what other barriers did you have to face? Like, aside from like a language barrier, were there cultural barriers you had to face coming to Southern, like in the way how the schools operated, or?
Well, I grew up pretty not too sheltered, but kind of sheltered, because we didn't live in the best neighborhood. So my parents made sure I was, because I'm female.
Sorry, this chair is loud. It's bothering me. All right.
They made sure that I was always indoors, like most of the time, and I went to boarding school, so I was always from boarding school home.
All right.
So like the period between when I left Nigeria and between when I graduated from high school and came here was like 6 months, and that was that 6 months is when my parents were like, you have to learn how to like take the bus yourself, you have to learn how to do this and do that.
Oh, okay, so you kind of like grew up in 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. So like at 15, like they just put me on the plane, and I had to like figure everything else by myself.
And do you get to go back to like visit every once in a while?
I have never been back.
You haven't been back?
Yeah, it's just expensive.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I mean,
yeah, so
I can't even imagine that plane ticket.
Yeah.
Hopefully. And that's probably like more than 8 hours.
Oh, no. It's like
13,
a whole day and
24
half.
hours. Like, nah, I can't do it. I did one trip that was like, what was that, 13 hours maybe? Like California to St. Martin. And that was just like unbearable. I can't.
That wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was when I was coming from New York to Shreveport.
Really?
It was terrible because my uncle put me on the bus, not a plane. So I had to be on the bus for 3 days.
No.
I had no food.
I wish I had like a
food, snacks.
Is this one of them? No, that's not it. I don't. Man, you guys, I'm sorry. One day I will have sounds. I promise. One day I'm gonna have a sad sound. One day I'm gonna edit it. But that sucks. A 3-day journey from New York to Shreveport.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I didn't know how to spend the American dollars either, so I kept feeling like I was scared that I was gonna get cheated, because that's something you experience in Nigeria.
That's true.
You can get cheated. So I didn't want to like buy anything, so I just kept the money and I went hungry.
Wow. You went hungry? You can't just go hungry. Wait a second.
Like,
I can't just gloss over that.
Thankfully, on the third day, like at the last bus I was supposed to take, I met this like really nice lady, and she talked to me, and she was actually Nigerian too.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, she was like, "What are you doing here? Where's your mom?" So, and she was the one that like bought me food and made sure I got home safely and everything.
That's great. That's why, the world is so small. And I feel like one of the things that really bothers me about today is people are so mad and so angry for no reason. And like your example of just being a random Nigerian lady, it's like, how kind of somebody just to, like, oh, you're not, like, where's your mom at? Here, eat. You know what I mean? Like, that's perfect. And now I want to get into what really drew me towards you, I guess you can say, is your faith and just how passionate you are about your faith. And I kind of want to talk to you. Would you say that grounds you as you're here away from your family and you're here at Southern and Baton Rouge of all places? It's like, right? Would you say your faith is like a rock for you?
It is, yeah. Like, I feel like I've had a really crazy journey with, being in and out of faith. And like now I just got to a point where I was like, looking back, I really can't do anything without God, because like anytime like I go like I stray like really far, nothing works out.
That's very true.
And like it just
and then you come back to God and everything
and
starts working again.
I'm sorry, I'm back. Like
I'm back. What's up? Here's my tithes, my offering.
That is so true. So like, I feel like being here for so long. At first, it was really hard, and there was nobody else like besides God I could really like put all that burden upon. Like it's a lot of pressure taking all of that on. But when you feel like you believe in something that's greater than you,
most definitely,
it really helps to take off the pressure.
Definitely. I mean, I can't even imagine. I mean, I definitely would have needed some God on that 3-day.
I know, right?
That 3-day voyage.
And it was cold.
Oh my God!
We did not have
snow.
So
you're traveling like in the winter then or something?
Yes, it was like January, so it was like really cold.
Look, I'm from California. We don't get winters. It's summer 24/7. So when I came here, I remember my freshman year. It was spring semester. It was like crazy cold for no reason, and it rained every single day. And I'm like this kid from California with no like proper winter clothing. And I'm walking around like, these people are crazy. Like, I need to come in. I need to go back to California now.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, okay, I thought this was somebody's office.
Oh, it is. It's the 771 office.
Who?
Organization office.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
all right. Because I was trying to pick up a collection for Miss Alberta. Y'all know her?
Alberta, no, I'm sorry.
Okay, all right, John.
All right. You too.
Does that affect the podcast?
It does, but I'm not gonna edit it. It's gonna stay in.
Really?
it's going to stay in because I'm all about authenticity, and I want to get back to Southern and everything. So, let me form my questions right, because like I said before, this SU interviews is very important to me because I want to form these perspectives and find a solution to all these issues on campus. And what an issue I'm finding very common is communication. And
among students or amongst
just in general, just this campus, and mainly SGA and how they communicate to students and the worries of students, the complaints of students. I recently did a podcast on homophobia and the LGBTQ plus community, and I find that there's no forums or no way to express concerns in that way. So would you say when you came to Southern, being like I was focusing on Africa and your African experience and all of that, would you say that you wish there was a more inclusive community for you to say, or more culture to say? Yeah,
I do agree with that. When I honestly, like, even with the homophobic thing, like, I don't have an opinion on that, because like we don't really have that in Nigeria, because like I mean, okay, that's a whole nother topic.
Whole nother podcast.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. But as an international student, I didn't feel like we had a voice of our own. Let's even go back, because I just transferred last semester, so we're only talking about like a semester and a half year.
Wow.
But I spent 2 years in Shreveport, where I had to be the president of our international students body, because nobody was stepping up to do it. Because in the past, when anybody tried, they would always shut them down, or like they wouldn't like give enough support.
Shut them down.
Yeah, like it was like nobody was doing anything about it.
Anything.
Yeah, so.
That's why I'm doing this. No one's doing anything about anything.
So like we organized like functions and like events for International Students Day, International Students Week, So we
And
did
what would
that.
you? So with that, what would you say you'd want to see at Southern?
At Southern, I would say, because I'm even trying